Jazz hands.
Yeah, that's how I start every symphony moment in my life is
Oh,
with
really?
jazz
I love
hands.
it. But that's very true. I do that too. I do it like this. I wonder how many people who are going to see this, who have done already a symphony, a Symphony of Possibilities class, or an intro, or opening of the symphony, who play with the symphony like this.
Yeah, it's like, what is your symphony automatic posture?
Yeah,
Strike your symphony pose.
maybe I do a new one. Maybe I should do Superman pose.
Yes.
Welcome, Kate.
Hi,
Yeah,
Halina.
I kind of
Thanks for
have to
having
say,
me.
yeah, it's kind of like you could also say welcome, Halina. It's kind of
Yeah,
like,
welcome, Halina.
hi. So maybe we could also just say that you and I, we are both part of the symphony team. So and today we have been doing this for a while now, the symphony conversation, and we also talked about ESB, the energetic synthesis of being, a few times in the last lives. So today we want to talk a little about the symphony again. And Kate, do you want to give a little bit of an introduction again about what the Symphony of Possibilities is? Because I can imagine that might people watching who have never heard of it before, now or in the future.
Yeah, I think that's an awesome launch pad for us to start with. So for those of you who might be like, what is symphony? Like, isn't that just like a group of instruments all playing, music together? And like, yes, and imagine that you were a part of that symphony energetically all the time in the world. To me, the Symphony of Possibilities is an acknowledgement that we live in a universe of energy and it moves and flows and expresses itself in all of these different ways. And it's not just something that's outside of you, it is also you. It's you and your being, it's you and your choices, it's you and your body. And so the Symphony of Possibilities is like acknowledging that dynamic and universe. And it's also a 3-day class with Dr. Dane here, where he invites you to play with that and know what that is for you. And the 3-day class is a deep dive. There are actually other things that you can play with before that. There's a 1-day class with Dr. Anthony Mattis or Katerina Valentin. There's like a 90-minute, 2-hour-ish class that you can take with a symphony advanced practitioner. And there are symphony sessions where you can just experience a session in a group or one-on-one.
Yeah.
There's lots of different ways to experience and play.
Yeah.
That, how
So
are you
that,
going to grade me?
yeah. And like, is there not coming more? So, so thank you for that. I get that, when you go to these classes, you kind of also experience for the first time, for if you go for an intro or you go to an 1-day class, you for the first time experience how it is when you actually gift a session and you receive a session, like yourself. Yeah, so you also gift a session. So maybe some of people are watching this and they know they have been playing with this, but basically it's not just that. It's kind of like you can actually be this with everything in your life. So, and this is what we want to talk about a little bit today, and give you a little bit, like, just invite you to maybe start to a little bit also allow yourself to receive the energies of this and come along with us on this a little bit of energetic journey. So, Kate, how do you, or where do you be the symphony in your life with, if you're not doing a session on a person, for example?
Yeah. So my target is to be it always. And I I can't say that I'm consciously there yet. Like that's my target, to be it always. And I know that every single day, every single week, every single month, like more and more, I am stepping into that. The irony is that you actually are it all the time. Like you can't help
Yeah,
but be it,
yeah,
but there's a different like potency and flow that occurs when you're like, when you really know that you are that. Like you can't help but be it, but we usually be it with all the like different structures and coping mechanisms and points of view that we have instituted to navigate life. And that's not wrong. It makes it like you're trying to flow amid a labyrinth of structures. And the more that you release those and are actually like, wow, like, I mean, I feel like the trees behind me are this
Yeah,
perfect example of like
yeah,
the energy is always moving, even when something seems or feels stuck or seems like solid. That's
yeah.
one of my favorite things that I think a lot of people hear when they first start playing with access consciousness tools. When Dane talks about, and it's in the Being You book, which is behind you, he talks about how, you
It's the
know,
German version. I'm just going to pull it here. It's the German version. Yeah, so it's like being you changing the world, but German. So you
can
see,
you
it's
say it in
also
German?
available in languages. Just
Can
put
you
it.
say the title in German?
The title in German is Sei du selbst und verändere die Welt.
Mm,
Mhm.
awesome. I
Yeah.
love it. But one of the things that he talks about in there, and that a lot of people, I think, hear initially when they start playing with the consciousness tools, is that we can look at something like this mug, sponsored by Shroot Farms, aka The Office, and it's solid. Like I can tap it right now, and my finger is not going through it. Um, but one of the things that science has shown us, and not that we require science to show us everything, but it's nice to have examples to be able to point to, is that even though it literally feels solid and looks solid, when we get down into the like microcosm of it, it's actually space and energy. And
Mhm.
so with the Symphony of Possibilities as like a class and way of being in the world, and even just using the access consciousness tools in general, to me, that is so much the metaphor with life. Like the things that seem stuck actually aren't. There is space and there is movement. It's a willingness to know that and engage with it and like experiment and see what's available.
Yeah.
Um, so one of the ways that I like play in life is when anything seems like intense or stuck, it's really easy to go to the autopilot, the freak out, the coping mechanism of whatever that is. And I'm getting quicker and quicker at catching myself and then being like, okay, but what can I be here? And like posture and I might literally pull up my hands in the moment because
Mhm.
sometimes I just can't help myself, but you don't have to move your hands.
No.
Um, it's just like all of a sudden I become aware of moving energy, and it is wild. Like the things that can shift without you having to have a specific target. I was driving on the highway with my brothers this past weekend, and we missed our exit. And then by missing the exit, we actually ended up in dead stop traffic because there was a car on fire in the breakdown lane up ahead. So we were just dead stopped in traffic. And I could feel them getting stressed because we were supposed to be home for family dinner and we had like a tight deadline because of the other things. And so I could feel the like, oh, if
Mhm.
only we hadn't missed that exit, you
Mhm.
know? And I was sitting in the back seat and I was just kind of like, okay, cool. Like, what can I be here? And it's not even that I had an absolute goal of like if to fly or to break up the traffic. It was just what can I be here?
Yeah.
And it was almost instantaneous that the energy in the car shifted and my brothers were no longer stressed. And then after like, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes of dead stop traffic, it started to move a little bit and we started to go. And it was like, wow, the more times that we witness that occur, we start
Mhm.
to realize that things aren't as solid as they
Yeah.
seem.
Yeah. And it's also like, I know that like this is something that also this thing of like your point of view creates your reality. And a point of view is basically also created energy. Like,
Yes.
you create a reality with your point of view, but if you start to shift your point of view, the reality you created with that will start to shift as well. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and that's basically what the symphony does as well. It's like you start to shift whatever is not moving forward or not moving, or where you're stuck, and you really don't need to know what it is. Like
Mm.
you can really just ask, the energy to contribute to change this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it's like, and also what you said in the beginning is like, this is one of the things I really started to ask, one of the questions I really started to ask when I took the first SOP class some years ago, that to become it, to be the walking, talking symphony energy. Like, and now I know, as you said, like I cannot, I cannot really say if I'm being that all the time. But the other thing is, like, when you become something, you cannot feel it, you cannot sense it because you are it. Yeah. You also cannot, it's like I cannot feel myself really when I'm being me. I'm just so much space that I don't feel myself, like so. But what I do notice is that, as you also said, that things just, it's somehow like when I want to change something around in my life or around my life, it's kind of like it automatically starts to run, like because I know I have this tool, like I can be this, and then I can change things. So, as you also said with traffic, I do that a lot also when I travel, like when I'm at the airport and things are not moving, I'm just like, okay. And always things are starting to move pretty much immediately.
Yeah.
And this is one example, because I think a lot of people it's like this, yeah, I asked for a parking spot and there it was. But this is like, you can really create magic with this. Like what I already created with that, like just by asking for this to contribute, is like, wow. And it's always might seem a little bit like that is something outside of us, but that's not the case. You are part of this. You are the conductor of it. Yeah. So the moment you ask for it, yeah, you be it, and you can change anything, move anything.
Well, and I love to pull in, and this can totally just be me. I think that's one of the things that I love so much about these symphony conversations is everybody sharing how they play. And so you get to start to see there is not one way. There's no right way. And it's your experiment of what that is for you and how you be in the world. And so the other energy I kind of want to pull in with the conductor energy is kind of like the mad scientist. And you don't have to be mad. You can just be the like explore, discover something, but it's so much the exploration. It's not just about I would like to do this and then have this outcome and then do this other thing. Like sometimes when people look at conducting, it can have a sense of like control. And for me, it's like the experiment. And what happens now? And what happened? And what if? And then, and then it becomes a totally different, like alive creature when it becomes the process. And I think that's one of the things after my first Symphony of Possibilities class, I like literally remember I was in the shower. I actually had a migraine and I had like quite a few headaches. And I was just kind of like, what is going on? Like, just in the intensity of it. And like, what else is possible here? And I was in the crunch of it, but I was getting to the point of not just being in crunch, but also being in curiosity of like, okay, this is showing me something. What is going on here? And all of a sudden I started to get the download of like everywhere I was controlling and stopping flow and contracting and trying to get things to go a certain way in my body, in life, with just like perceiving energies around me. And I was like, oh, like it's not wrong. It's, for me though, it's hard. Like it's a lot of it. There's so much energy that has to go into like controlling and locking things in to go a certain way instead of like allowing the flow of the universe. And again, it doesn't mean I'm perfect now, but a moment of an awareness like that, like Halina was saying, now you take that forward with you. You like can't undo that moment. It now moves with you. And so you start to engage with the world different. And it's,
yeah, that's beautiful.
So do you have a favorite way to play in life? Or do you have a favorite moment recently that you want to share?
Oh my God. Not really. It's like there's so many. It's just like, I guess what I just always notice like how much this has changed or is changing my life. Like especially with like how much ease my life has become. You know, it's like, because I do know that I can actually change anything with this. It's my choice if I do it or not. You know, like
Yeah.
it's the same as like if I choose to not be that, then it's, yeah, you know, if I want to be stuck, okay, I'm stuck. You know, it's not wrong either. It's just like, okay, it's just my choice in that 10 seconds, you know. There's so many things like I just know, you know, like that, for example, with plants, not necessarily that I do like you give them SOP sessions. It's just like me being with them. They just live longer than other plants. You know, when you have flowers, for example, usually you know, you get a bouquet of flowers and then they last for 4 or 5 days. They last 2 weeks or longer with me.
Yeah.
And that's like, but this is something that I noticed. I was like, yeah, because this is the energy of being alive as well. Like living, thriving, being you, having all, you know, allowing to have all possibilities available whenever you choose. And this is, there's so many ways how I noticed this. I mean, and I also have not explored out of it at all. Like I'm still exploring, you know. It's like there's always more, and it's always also changing. And there's also this, I remember in the beginning it was a lot, I could feel it a lot, like there was a lot of intensity with this, you know, like I also felt it very intense in my body. And this is over the years, like with playing with this, going to so many classes, and you know, like also facilitating these intro classes and being in this energy and being this energy more every day, the intensity totally went away. Like this is, and this is because you become more space, and everything in your life becomes more space. There's not a lot of like, and if you have, there's also one thing that I guess I would like to share is the that, you know, we have this tool in Access, who does it belong to, you know, like this, like that 89%, 98%, right? I have the thing with numbers. I'm always like, they're always in my head like this, so I don't know what way around. 98% or maybe more doesn't belong to us. We are aware of everything. Like, so that's the tool where you ask, okay, when it's heavy and you're stuck somewhere, just ask, who does it belong to? And I use this tool, like, and I even used it straight for 6 months before.
Wow.
Yeah, because I was on an X-Men call, and then the facilitator said that Gary Douglas said to her, because she is so aware that she has to use it 6 months straight. And I was like, this is very light for me. I might should do that too. And then I did it, and it created already so much change in my life, like incredible. But what happened was, like, when I went to the symphony class, for the SOP class for the first time, and then he said, you know, probably everything you're aware of, like 98% or more in this session, is not yours. And that's when I actually, this tool got really a different flavor to me, because I also like, I was in this class and I was like, yeah, okay, I'm here. I know something, you know, like I was like, even if I had no idea what's going to happen, but it was like immediately I was like, wow, this is who does it belong to? You know, like because you all of a sudden your awareness, you really have to stretch your being, you know, to receive this universe of energies. And then, you know, because you are kind of present with what's going on, you become very aware. I mean, that's how it was for me, very aware of like that the person you work on is like all what's going on for that person. And then I was like, holy moly, this is true, nothing is mine, you know, like. But that was like, for me, there was such a big change, because before that, even by using these tools a lot, I didn't have that kind of access to it.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden it was like, as it what this whole thing started to detach from me, you know. It was like, I was like, wow, And that's basically when you play with this with everything. I mean, if you play with like in how does it, like not moving objects, what's the word, in like trees that can't move except for the
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
okay, so if you, for example, if you play with the SOP, the symphony with a tree, you're still gonna use, like whatever you perceive, it's what you perceive, what the energy is of the tree. But you could also say, oh my God, this is me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, but somehow
Mm-hmm.
it's like, what, this also like is this moment where you're like, wow, I perceive an energy that I never really noticed before. Because you
Yeah.
actually have to open up and you have to start to receive. That is the other thing. You have to start to receive, and that's very beautiful, because the beautiful thing is, if it's, don't do it with people. you know it's like that trees, for example, they don't have points of views. They just show
Yeah.
you an energy. You cannot define it. Maybe you have a sense of like, wow, there's a lot of joy that opens up, but that's what the tree might show you, what you can receive about you. The joy you be, or the joy that this energy is. Like, it's everywhere, but you have to be willing to open yourself up for this. And most people, or most things that are going on in this reality, we do to shut this off, to keep that
Yeah.
out, because we think we cannot handle this. But that's
Mm-hmm.
the lie, like that's the lie. But it becomes way easier if you actually start to open up to this. And
Yeah.
that's I think that's kind of like what the symphony really is the gift for me, because like everything was like always super intense for me, because I was just so freaking aware of everything and everyone, and there was all this chaos and blah, 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 and with starting to play with this and ask for it to be more and more, my life changed so much. Like, I don't even know who I was before. Like I can't remember. Like, I can't even, I don't even, it's like, it's gone. And I also don't need to know. Like, I don't have to go back there, but yeah.
Yeah. I love that you brought that up, because I think that's so, like, you brought in receiving and we talked about flow.
Mm-hmm.
And then if we were making a recipe right now, the
Mm-hmm.
next like thing that I would sprinkle in is potency. Like,
Yeah.
there's this piece of being, like, acknowledging this capacity of being here and moving with the energies, being aware of energies, being a catalyst. There is a potency that ignites in a different way. And I think the way that I would speak to it is kind of what you said about knowing you can handle something, because so much of what we do with our coping mechanisms and the like walls and barriers we put up, like, we'll talk about them as structures, because
Mm-hmm.
energetically it's creating solidities in your
Yeah.
world. So much of that is created subconsciously and sometimes on purpose, because we think we cannot handle the intensities of life and the world. And there's a lot of shit going on right
Yeah.
now. Like, you turn on the TV, you get app
Yeah.
notifications, you
Yeah.
scroll on social, and we are just bombarded. Like, energetically, we're always aware of the things, and informationally, I feel like we are bombarded in a whole new way right now, where it's 24/7 feed if we let it. And it's so easy to be like, oh my God, that's enough. Like, let
Yeah.
me just like back up. Let me institute something to protect myself, to try and make it smaller and not as intense. But there is and that's not wrong. Like,
Yeah.
we
No.
all fucking do it. And a lot of us who are like exploring these tools and on this journey, we're realizing that's not actually required. And actually, that can make things more intense. And so, if you're looking for something different, going on this kind of self-awareness journey, energetic awareness journey, and the Symphony of Possibilities, since we're talking about that today, it's an invitation to step into a different way of being and navigating the world. And this thing, and I actually went through it just like last week or something, where I caught myself, I was in the funk and I caught myself pre-planning, pre-preparing for every possible future of what could be coming with
Yeah.
my dad right now, because he has
Yeah.
Alzheimer's and all the things that go around that. And I caught myself like, well, but what if this happens? And then if this happens, and then if this happens, and then if this happens. And it was like all of the ease and flow that I had had this whole time, all of a sudden became this like fear, doubt, worry, and it was just really clunky. And then I asked a question after the second day of funk, and I was like, wait, what if I got curious here? And I was like, oh, I'm trying to figure everything out right now instead of just knowing, which I actually know that no matter what shows up, no matter what occurs along this journey, I can handle it and I can outcreate it and I can be a catalyst for something. And so I just want to toss in that piece of potency too. Like if it's scratching at you, like you know that you have this inner power that you're like, what is that and how do I get more of it? Like I get glimpses of what that could be. For me, this has been to absolutely, like if we can call it a modality, whether we call it a class, whether we call it a way of playing, like this has been a huge invitation to like cracking that open more and more. And like you said, Halina, having way more ease in life than the people around me, just because I'm able to move with the flow of things that constantly change.
Yeah, and you really can just change the energies by asking for it. And you do not need to know what you're changing. Because like our inherent nature is like that we actually are light. Like we are light being, like in sense, like our truth is that is the lightness and the space. So if we start to choose from that, and that's what most of us always mostly desire, to go to get to lightness, like to get to the space and the lightness and the sense of like, oh my God, I can breathe. Like I have a sense of me, like even with my body, like more of a connection with my body than, like, because we all do all kinds of things as well to kind of create a disconnection to that too, because of whatever. But it's like, no, I lost the track. What did I? Hey,
Talking about truth and the lightness, and that's what we be, and to move towards the lightness. And let's see, we were talking about handling things.
Yeah,
we were talking about the movement.
It's gone. It's gone. It's like maybe it's going to show up again. But there was something that you said before. Now I lost it. But well. I guess it's like maybe I was a little bit going to that like even if you think, yeah, I need to know to change this, but you don't really need to know. You know, by you will always choose to get to lightness. So when this is what you also actually learn with this, because there is no guidebook, there is no right and wrong, there is no this is how you do it. This is like you be it. Like, and then you just go with the flow, and then you will always follow what's light. So if you go somewhere with, when you do a session or you work on something, and then you sense like, okay, there's something that's stuck, that's not moving. Yeah, you can just ask a question and ask the energy to contribute to create the space that's required to move forward, or to create something else, like something greater. And it's going to change, and you really don't need to know what it is. And it's kind of like that. This is where your life becomes easier, because you don't try to figure out things anymore. You actually just like, okay, this is not working. Yeah. What else is possible? And then you can use that as a tool in your life if you want to.
Yeah, it's so true.
Yeah. And the horrible side effect is that you might get so much more happy in your life. Like it's very horrible.
It is, yeah, it's really, you can tell how awful it is.
Yeah.
So
So yeah, and this is like, what if you could, that there's, as Kate also, as you mentioned in the beginning, there's several ways to just get to experience this. By, if you hear this and you're like, there's something I just want to know what that is a little bit more. You can look for receiving a group taster, for example, or book yourself a session with a symphony practitioner. Or if you have done a bars class, you could go to a symphony intro class with a symphony advanced practitioner, which is this 2 hours, 1.5, 2 hours intro class. It's an intro class. So, or you if you want more, you go to the 1-day class or to the 3-day class with Dr. Dane here. And there is one coming up. We're just going to let them know, because we also know there's people here who have done a little bit more access, and we're wondering. So the next opening of the symphony class and Symphony of Possibilities class is going to be in Mexico, right? Do you have the dates? Do you have the dates?
Yes.
Oh, great.
So the global opening of the symphony class with Dr. Anthony Mattis, and Katerina Valentin is also there and contributes to that. When we say global for global opening of the symphony, what's really beautiful with that is, one, it happens the day before the Symphony of Possibilities class, and two, you can be a part of it online. All of the other opening of the symphony classes are more locally based, where you have to go in person. So that is October 3rd. So live in Mexico City and online worldwide. And then the Symphony of Possibilities 3-day class with Dr. Dane here, but you will also see Dr. Anthony Mattis and Katerina Valentin there, is October 4th to the 6th, live in Mexico City and online worldwide. Yeah. And if you're like, online for an energy class, what the fuck? Like, no. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Like, if there is one thing that will reveal to you that energy goes beyond time, distance, space, dimension, whatever, it's an online experience.
Yeah, definitely. And the live experience is also very different, because it is different when you have a body in front of you.
Yep.
It's totally different experiences, but online I would always say this is kind of like, I took the third class online. That was during COVID, when there was lockdown, nobody could travel anywhere. And I was like, it so stretched my muscle of, stretching out even more, and, like energetically, and my awareness, I really had to stretch my awareness more. So this is really a fantastic with that, if you attend online. And then for all the Europeans, there's also the same possibility in November in Prague. We have a global opening of the symphony in Prague on the 20th of November. And the following days, 21st until 23rd, we're going to have a Symphony of Possibilities class with Dr. Halina, and both again online and live. And I cannot wait. I'm already like, yeah, it's like you cannot. This is like, every time for me is like, I'm taking this class again, like for the first time. There's no, I have done this. Like, this is totally changing. The more people also attending these classes and choosing this becomes this always grows, and it's so much faster accessible for everyone now. Like, it's just fantastic, magical.
I agree.
I think, thank you, Kate.
Thanks, Halina.
I'm just going to end this with, like, this is probably one of the greatest gifts I have received in my life so far. I honestly, really, I probably asked for it. Otherwise I would not have come to me, but I had no idea. Yeah. Really, I kind of, like, if you would have told me I have anything to do with energy and do an energy session, I would have said, like, 10 years ago, was like, yeah, no, for sure not. It's like, if you have the point of view, you don't get energy. Everything is the opposite of what it appears to, mostly. So
yeah, well, and I just want to add in this one thing with this, because even though we're saying the words energy session, we've also talked about so much how it's a way of being in the world. Yeah. And that, for me, because I wholeheartedly agree, I am so fucking grateful for this, and that I've been able to be a part of so many classes, and, like, yeah, it has absolutely changed my life momentously. And for me, it's something I always knew was possible, but I didn't know the how. Like, I didn't know how to get there. It felt like it was just out of reach. And then any other type of modality or article or whatever that I read, again, it would kind of hint at it, but it didn't give me the, like, way to be a part of it. And I have a massage background. I have an energy background with shiatsu, which uses the energy meridians of the body and chakras and all of that. And even though that stuff is awesome, it was encapsulated within a session. It was like, someone is on my table. I can now work with them and their bodies. I wasn't able to then bridge it into the way I was being in the world. And that to me is like the game changer with this. Like it is about everything becomes a session. Your life is just an ongoing, unfolding session.
Yeah. And guess what? You know, you are the session. Yeah. It's like, it's not, it's really, but this is something that you know, this is kind of like, I know maybe when we say things like that, it seems like, I don't get this, you know, I don't know what they're talking about. But if I didn't get that in the beginning either, it's also like something that you just have to go on the journey and find out what it is for you. Because also, you know, I don't know how this is for you, Kate, with being that, you know, because you are you. You are different. You know, you're not me and I'm not you. So that's the gift, you know, because we are all different with this. You know, we all are unique with this, like with our unique, what we are. So this is the same with like, yeah, I mean, we could go on and on. I would just say, hey, we're like,
our 7-hour live.
Yeah, it's like the 7-hour live. Okay. But yeah, just if you have the ping, you want to go on, you want to just check it out, do it and see what it does, or what your experience is.
Yeah. And if you guys have questions, Halina and I, and we have other people on the team as well, you can email sap@accessconsciousness.com. And if you guys know us personally, you can reach out and we will do our best to contribute to you if you have questions or whatever that is.
Yeah. And I'm also going to post, we have a landing page. I'm going to post a landing page here, probably over this live and under this live and right and left. No, not well. So you can, if you can also go on the landing page and just explore a little bit what you find. That there's videos and a little bit more information about all this, also the classes and stuff. So thank you so much, Kate.
Thank you.
I don't have hearts. Bye everyone. Bye everyone. Thank you for being on. And maybe see you somewhere in a class. Who knows?